What I wanted to do was kind of show some of you guys like some Procreate stuff. Just start off some basics, some things you might know. Some things that I've seen students like mess up like over and over and over again, which drive me kind of a little bananas. And then what I want to do is leave a good chunk for questions, because like someone just asked, you can buy brushes? Oh yeah. I have an iPad Pro, the one from last year, the big one, the 12.9, and I have the Apple Pencil 2, which is a really cool one. I always mocked Mr. Denner for digital art, even though I teach a digital art course. I always hated it. And then when I got Procreate, I was like, holy cow, this is the coolest. It's like the best $10 you can buy anywhere. And Procreate's only for an iPad. You can't get it on any other device. But a lot of the things that I do on here, you can do on the Eclipse Studio Paint or Affinity Painter, I think it is. IBS Paint. Okay, that's that one there too. So irritable bowel syndrome paints, you can use that. All right. So Procreate. So here's what we have rocking in here. First things first, when we make a new file, I have my little plus sign up here. I get a lot of students that just dive right into the screen size one and are ready to go. Well, we got to know a few things about screen size first. One, screen size or resolution is really, really low. Resolution is how many dots there are. Procreate is a raster image program, which means you're drawing in pixels, not like an Illustrator where it's vectors and all smooth and pretty. So we need more pixels. So I'm going to go to the plus sign up here. You got a few things. You go pixels, you could go inches, whatever the case might be. I like inches. So right now 2,550 inches is too big. No kidding, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and do 12, and then I'm going to go 14. You'll notice that my maximum layers has gone down. I can go ahead and make this like 40 inches, and my maximum layers has gone down to 11. So this is the high-end iPad Pro, and it's having a hard time with too many layers. If you have the lower iPads, the minis or what have you, this will change on you really quickly. So I'm just going to do like a 12 by like 14. So here's the important part, is right here is the DPI, or dots per inch. You have to know your end results before you make your artwork. So if I'm making a print for somebody, I better make sure that's 300 DPI at the size I'm going to print it at. So at home, my printer I have is 13 by 19, which is pretty big. That's the biggest I can go. I know a 12 by 14 document will fit on that page at 300 DPI. If I'm going to do something for the screen, I'm practicing with some new pens or whatever, I don't care. I'll just make that number lower, no big deal. But now you can see my maximum layers is 40. If I increase my DPI to 600, what does my maximum layers go down to? Holy cow, only 7. So 300 should be good. I'm going to go ahead and hit create. Now I made the mistake when I first got this. I made a whole bunch of new canvas sizes that were both horizontal and vertical. Well, all you got to do is just turn this around. And you have it going that way. So it doesn't matter which way is which. Do you guys know about your zooming and stuff, right? You can use your fingers to pinch and zoom around. And if I get like way too crazy, I can go ahead and just go bing, and it'll pop it right back to center, which is kind of nice. Important, as I'm arting, the only way to save and Procreate is to go back to the gallery. Now I've saved it. I've never had anything crash or delete, knock on wood. But every once in a while, if I'm working for a couple hours, I'll just hit the gallery button, it'll pop back, it'll save on my iPad. And I'll show you how to back up your work later as well. So as I'm painting along, 2-finger tap will undo, 3-finger tap will redo. I'm pretty sure you know those things. If you're not, well, there you go. I don't like my background being white, so I just go ahead and make mine usually make mine like a gray. Something around there. It's just easier on my eyeballs. So let's talk about a few things before we get started in here. So everyone, let's look at the little wrench that's up here. There's a few things in here that are kind of handy. One is in our preferences. I like having my little slider over here on the right. Some people want it over here on this. I'm sorry, mine's on the left. Some people want it on the right. It makes more sense to me to have it over here, so I can use my left hand to move the size of my brush and the opacity a lot easier. Some people like it over here because they can just do everything all in one. That's up to you. So right here is my pressure curve. And this is like just the normal boring pressure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get, let's go ahead and get us a pencil. Where's my pencil I like? I was just using it recent. There's my pencil right there. Awesome. We'll go to darker color. We'll do dark blue. Good. So as I'm sketching along, I can go lightly and push harder and then push lighter, and I can get a different varying width of my pencil. If I go to my preferences and I go to that pressure and smoothing, if I crank this up, now when I push really lightly, I can't get a thin line. Like, I have to like barely touch my screen to make this go. And if I push really hard, it just, my pressure is basically cranked all the way up. And if I go down to my pressure and smoothing, I do the opposite. Now if I push, like I am hammering on my iPad right now. You probably can hear it. Like I am pushing really hard and I'm barely making any lines. So if you're a person who has a really heavy hand, come on, you might want to just kind of curve this down a little bit. If you're a little lighter touch, you might want to move it up a little bit. I just keep mine in the middle, but that's always helpful if you need to. Especially if you do more detailed stuff, it's kind of fun to be able to turn that up and down if you need to. Obviously up here in the top right corner, I have my drawing, my smudging, and my eraser. You can use any brush for any of these tools. You do not need a smudge tool to smudge. You can smudge with whatever you want, all right, which is kind of cool. I really like this little square over here. This is going to be our quick menu. Do you guys have yours turned on? You hit your little square and quick menu turns on? Oh, all right. So let's go back up to our little wrench. We're going to go to gesture controls. Preferences, then gesture controls.
Oh,
my bad.
Okay.
So wrench, and then preferences, and then gesture controls. You have to have gesture controls. So it's got to be in there, yeah. So in here, you can do a bunch of different stuff. I used to have smudge turned on with my finger. So now when I go back over here, I can use my finger to smudge. So my finger, my touch of my hand and my iPad will activate the smudge. Problem is, if I'm resting my hand on my iPad screen and I do this, I was smudging my artwork a lot. So I got kind of annoyed and I turned that off. So gesture controls, I'm turning my smudge off. But the quick menu is really cool. So if you look, I have some options for my quick menu, and I just made it tap that little square. You can make it touch, you can make it touch and hold, you could do lots of different things. I just made it my square. You can change those to whatever your little heart desires. But now what's cool is I touch this, my little quick menu pops up. And these are tools that I use a lot. Right now I love this one gesture pencil that I got from this one guy that I bought. It's my favorite, oops, maybe I shouldn't be sketching in white. It's one of my favorite sketching pencils, and I have that loaded in my quick gesture so I can automatically go and just grab Max's pencil and use it. So if you want, what you can do is you can change these really easily. I can push and hold, and now I have all of my things that I can put in my gesture menu in here. So, I don't know, let's say I'm going to do, holy cow, let's just do undo, I guess. Now I can just go ahead, instead of double tapping, I can hit this little box and hit undo, and it'll undo my last thing. So I kind of like these quick little things, especially for my Max pencil, because it's my favorite, and I can get to it really, really quickly. So that's kind of handy. Again, the wrench, my gesture controls, and then the quick menu. Let's do one more thing in here, and then we'll mess around in... So why don't you go to the wrench, and then go ahead and hit canvas. And there's a few things in here. One is reference. Let's say I'm drawing a picture of someone. Do you have that on there, Anna? Do you have the reference? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to click on image, import image. It'll bring up my import image. There we go. It'll bring up my stuff. Let's say I'm drawing this gentleman, which I've already drawn. Now I have my reference right here. Now I can go ahead and sketch all I want. I can move this around, and I have him as my reference. And I can zoom in, I can zoom out. It's kind of nice to have your reference right there. I'll show you. I'll go ahead and close this. I'm going to go to wrench, canvas, and then reference is right there. One more thing that I love is the drawing guide. This is really helpful for perspective. Ooh, you guys love your perspective. I'm going to turn my drawing guide on, but I'm going to edit it. Oh my gosh, look at all this fun stuff. Look at perspective. I can tap to create a vanishing point. And now I have a vanishing point, which mine's a little hard to see because I think it's turquoise. So the wrench, and then canvas, then edit drawing guide. I'm going to keep perspective on. I'll make them a little thicker so we can see. I'm going to hit done. I don't want it to be white though. Let's go pink. That's hard to see too. There we go. Now if I'm drawing, I have everything in perspective. And it won't print. You can hide it. You can make it look like you're pro. It's pretty sweet. I can add multiple perspective points on here. So if I'm drawing 2 vanishing points, oh my gosh. Right? How cool is that? What's even cooler, and this one's fun. I don't do this one enough, which I probably should. Edit drawing guide. We'll go symmetry. Anyone play with this yet? I'm gonna get a marker. Where's my markers? Marker. Let's get this big old jumbo one. Let's get a bright orange. Ooh. If I draw over here, yeah, it's cool. Like you can do a lot of fun stuff, and it's gonna draw symmetrical. Oh, that looks like a little dude or something on here. Right? So it's kind of fun. It's a little cheesy and a little cheating, but sometimes it comes in really handy if you want to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and clear. I'm going to turn my drawing guide off. Just delete that one. There we go. Sure. Awesome. Turn that off. Cool. Layers. Oh my gosh. Ogres and onions and Procreate have what? Layers. Do you guys use your layers? So what I like to do is sometimes I'll go ahead and have a sketch layer. I might have like an ink layer where I'm drawing on top of that, and so on and so forth. I'll go ahead and grab one of my like crazy layered ones. We'll grab Eric over here. So I look at Eric, I mean look at all this. These are all my different sketches I had of him. I'll go ahead and start turning some of these off. We can see how boring it gets. And I like keeping my sketches because I like showing my students sometimes like how we were like drawing and not doing things you like and messing around and playing and practicing until you get something that you like. So layers are really cool, especially if I was having a hard time with his glasses. So I put his glasses on a separate layer and I shrunk them down a lot. So if you go back to the replay, you can see me playing with the glasses quite a bit and kind of shrinking some things down. And then I have a lot of Photoshop skills too, so I kind of know what I can do with like my layers and putting things on top and making some cool looking stuff and doing like the grime and like the canvas and making it look all textured and things. So I can take somewhat of a decent drawing and make it better just by texture. But that's like a whole different like lesson within itself. I'm gonna go back to over here. So I would encourage you to use as many layers as you can. Do you guys know how you can group them as well? If I just push to the right and hit new group, I now have a new group of layers. I can tap on here and rename it. Woohoo. Okay. My adjustments for my layers, let me get 2 different ones. Let me get my, I don't know, give me some gouache or something. Right now, my adjustment layers are right here. If you ever use Photoshop, you can actually start using the same things for the adjustment layers that you can do in Procreate. That's how I do all my textures and overlays, is by stuff like this. Let's get a new fun color. And then inside these adjustment layers, there's some pretty fun things that you can do. If you want all of the crazy details, you can look them up. There's mathematical equations that kind of put you to sleep, which is kind of fun. But there's some cool stuff you can do in here to make some really cool effects on your artwork. Let's see what else. Oh, the colors. I can pull this down and I can have a little fly out color window. So again, if I'm on colors, I can pull this down and I have it. That's always kind of nice, especially if I have a palette right here and I want to go and get a new color really quickly. I can go ahead and do that. Get my pink and go. I especially like this. Let me go back to my colors. I'm going to go to Harmony. I just noticed this up here. See how it says complementary? I have other options. So I can dig into my Studio Art Brain, which I'm doing right now in Studio. I can pick analogous colors, and I can let Procreate pick analogous colors for me, and I can get some pretty cool color harmonies in here. You want to get a complementary set? Well, there you go. If you want it brighter, make it brighter. You want it darker, make it darker, and you can automatically pick complements, which is pretty cool. If you want those colors, tap, tap. Now I have them saved, which is pretty cool. You want them gone, you push and hold, delete, push and hold, delete. So I want to leave time for questions because I see a lot of iPads out in the classroom, so I want to make sure that I can answer those as best we can. And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to have questions. So who wants to fire off a question for me? Maria. Yeah, there's a couple. So let's see here. Let me go up to... I'll use a dry brush here. So one, we got to make sure that we have a nice big high resolution file, because if we don't, then that's not going to go very well. So in smudging, if you want like a nice soft edge, I like the airbrushing and just using the soft brush. I like to make sure that my opacity for my smudge tool is turned down a little bit. The size is way too big. And then what I can do is I can use my pressure of my pencil, and if I push harder, it'll smudge harder. And I kind of do it in layers and in steps. But the soft airbrush does a really good job at kind of smushing colors together. I also like, for smudging, I like the charcoals. I love the burnt tree for smudging. I just think that's kind of a cool effect. If it's too rough, the 6B is pretty cool. But I can go in here, and it just adds a little bit of texture to it so it doesn't feel like the airbrush. But if you go and purchase some tools, this one guy I like is Max, I can't pronounce his last name, but he has a whole set of watercolor brushes, but he has some really cool watercolor smudge brushes. So I can do smudge and grainy. And now when I smudge in here, it creates... So this guy Max has some really cool watercolor brushes. So let me go ahead and splatter down some watercolor, and I'll show you what that looks like. So Max watercolor, I'll do the flow. Let's get some brighter colors here, right? Why not? And it's cool because the lighter I go, the lighter I push, the darker or lighter it is. It's kind of nice. There it is. So now I'll get my smudge, and I'll go to Max's smudge and just do watercolor smudge. I'll move it up a little bit. And then what it'll do is it'll make it look like it's watercolor. So would you ever want to buy brushes? Yeah. I mean, why not? I heard Anna was talking about the brush like the Studio and stuff, which is basically just clicking on a brush and then double clicking on it and the Studio comes up. I don't know how it works totally, except for one thing which I'll show you guys. So I like to buy stuff instead. I actually bought the entire Retro Company supply library because it was 50% off on Black Friday. And I'm almost embarrassed to say it was $100, but I wanted to buy one set of brushes and it was 20. And then I wanted to buy another set which was 20. Well, that's 40. I'm halfway to 100. Might as well buy the whole stinking thing. So I did. So whatever. You can make fun of me later. But there's some cool stuff in here, like attic mildew. I can go ahead and tap on here and it makes it look like I had mildew on my paper. I don't want to sit and make that brush. I'm glad someone made it for me, right? They have some really cool things too, like dead pens. So if I go ahead and draw with this pen, it has kind of a cool like rough edge to it. I like the drippy one. I don't know where that... I just bought these, so I'm not totally confident with them. Dry brush. Oh, retro broken. There it is. So here's the skipping ink. So when you draw with this one, it looks like it's skipping ink. If you push harder, it's fine, but it also looks like intestines too after a while. But it's kind of fun. Like, I don't know. Would I ever use it? Maybe. I don't know. I do like their brush pen is really nice. This one's really cool. This one's really fun. It's just kind of a nice brush pen. It works really well. So let's say you're drawing away and you want it to be really perfect. Stabilization, right here, streamline. I'm going to crank this all the way up to maximum. And I'm going to try to make like a broken line. See how it's kind of like magnetically sticking to what I'm doing? That's our streamline. I'll turn this hot mess off and I'll do that again. You can almost see it's kind of like bending and sticking to like my curve. That's because the streamline is crazy high. I'm going to move it down to like 10. Now if I do it, it'll stick a little bit more to what I'm doing. So streamlining is cool to kind of fix like your mistakes. So if I want a really perfect illustration, I'll move it up like 30% and it'll make it stick a little bit better to what I'm working on. So that's always kind of fun too. What else? What other questions from the peanut gallery? What do you got? So this is Max Packs, that's what it is. He's a graphic designer. I think he lives on the West Coast somewhere. Really nice guy. I saw his YouTube stuff and I just found his brushes on here. So you can get them right through here. So the gouache one is 25 bucks. The water, get out of here, Max. No, I don't want that. There's an X up there somewhere. The watercolor one I got, he just released it last year, is 25 bucks. But you can do some cool stuff. Like there's some really neat things that come with it. You can make it look like it's watercolor. And he has a couple videos on YouTube on how to do it, and they're really cool. So they're really kind of fun stuff. I just love his work too. So I get him on there. The old adage of you pay for what you get is definitely the case with brushes in Procreate. I've gotten free ones where I'm like, meh. I've gotten some cheap ones for $5 which are decent. And then I spent $100 on the retro ones, and those are really good. So I don't want you to go, Mom, I need $100 for brushes. But they'll just kind of be on the internet. So here's Retro Supply. This is actually, I found out it's 3 or 4 people working out of their house in the West Coast. I had no idea. I was really impressed. So here's their stuff. So I got the complete collection, which is this crazy one. But you can go and just go brushes. And let's say you just want the standard pens. So it's 20 bucks for the standard pens. Looks like it's 30% off right now. And you get these guys in here. Now, the Procreate brushes are really good. I could get away with doing everything with just those, but I just kind of geek out over this stuff, so I kind of like getting the brushes. Speaking of which, Procreate did release some free ones last Christmas. They were called the Sweet Treats, which I don't know. Oh, here they are. They were really fun, especially this cocoa one I really like. I kind of changed the cocoa one a little bit. I use it like when I finish stuff for like edges and things. And there's a couple I'll never use. A latte is fun. I'm gonna put a color on here though. Let's do like I don't know, this kind of weird orangey brown. The latte is kind of fun. It's like a neat, like crusty, like watercolor, which is kind of neat. So those are on Procreate's website and they're free and they're really good. And the All-Star pack that Procreate put together actually came from a bunch of artists, and they put these together. So Max actually has one on here. His Oil Heavy Round, I think, is his. It's this oiled kind of paintbrush. I don't like those, but I just keep them on here. I really like Steph's sketch brush. This one's really kind of fun. It's just kind of a nice sketching pencil. There's just some kind of cool qualities to it I kind of like. So I would check out Procreate's site. They have the free ones, the Sweet Treats, and the All-Star ones are on right on their homepage, I think. And the other ones, again, you pay for what you get. You might find some YouTuber that might say, here's a free brush or whatever. They're okay. I follow a bunch of people on the internet, and they usually post when they have like certain things or something's on sale or what have you. But what I really like, and I haven't done a lot with them, is Retro Supply's Color Lab. So what they've done is they have these brushes that make it look like it's like an old comic book. Yeah, it's really neat. So that's the original art is over here, and then you can add and then add and keep going. And they've done all the work for you to make it look like that. So you can get this kind of cool dot pattern stuff. And I really kind of love that stuff, so that's mainly why I got it. So I don't have any plans, so if you guys want to hang around and chat more about Procreate, I'm perfectly fine. But if you have to scoot, you can do that. Do I have any other questions while we're sitting here? Oh, you might have done pixels then. So let's go back to the gallery. So if I go to the plus sign, Maria, and I make a new one, you might have done like 12 by like 14 pixels. You got to make sure you hit inches. So that's probably what you have. Oh, so I was just drawing this fine specimen here. And all these images that I like drawing from come from Earth's world. I think I talked about it a little bit last year. So Earth is a person, and they have this wonderful website where they go to all these weird state fairs and take pictures of people, and then Earth posts them to this website and gives you permission to make art from them. And there are thousands of images on here. So right now I could say I want to go to 2005, and he has all of these from 2005. So I'm going to go to the Clark County Fair on August 13th, 2005, and now I have all these people in here. And what I like about Earth's pictures, one, they're really good. They're high resolution, they're awesome, but they're normal people. They're not like models and pretty people. There are some attractive people in here, but 9 times out of 10 they aren't. And I like skewing and stretching my people, and then when I go in here and look, there's some fun people to skew and stretch. So there's some really cool things in here that I really kind of dig. But what I would recommend is I love this program. It's called VizRef. This actually was like $3, which isn't a whole lot, but this organizes my references. So right now on Earth's 4, I've been collecting a lot of pictures. You can see all my references in here. And if I'm sketching away, I can zoom in. I can take Procreate, plop it over here. And I have this guy sketched out already. Thank God for fanny packs. So now I have my reference over to my left, and I have my art over here on my right. And I can sketch this guy over here. So I really like Earth's world, but I really like being able to save my references too. I also save a lot of stuff from Instagram where people are like, they post like pictures of themselves or something. I got these from the Rochester Public Market Instagram page, and I sketched this kid here. Actually, the work is at home. This guy I tried drawing. It didn't come out very well. Or Mr. Denner for something I was drawing. I get a lot of skateboarding stuff. I like friends of mine. This is a guy I used to work with. He posted a cool picture on Instagram. I might use that. This guy Eric, he owns a gallery in town. Well, I did the drawing of him right here, and his wife actually bought it for him and gave it to him for Christmas, which is cool. Sometimes I find models and things. I did a graphite drawing of her. I mean, how can you not with those eyes? She's some French model. I don't know. So I just kind of like dig around. Like here's one from Earth's World, and then there's my drawing of that gentleman there. I did this for Geneseo High School. They had a demonstration of all the Procreate stuff too, which was kind of fun. So I kind of collect it, but I love the Earth's World stuff. Like it's just, I like to collect pictures of people, so I will save them in my to draw folder, which I have on here and on my phone. And then if I need something to draw, I just go and get those images and go from there. So it's always nice to have those on hand because you never know when you might need them. So I have mine turned on where I push and hold, Anna, and I can get my eyedropper tool. And then I have my color, I can push and hold, and I have my eyedropper tool. So if I go here, canvas, preferences, gesture controls, my eyedropper's right there, and I have it on touch and hold. So now if I want that green grass, yay, I have it. Alright, if I want orange in his pants, I have it. That's really nice for like skin tone sometimes. You're trying to get the right skin tone. It's nice to make like a puddle of colors. Now if I'm drawing over here, I can just push and hold on this puddle. I can add, I can push and hold, I can add, I can push and hold, I can add. So I kind of like having that turned on for that reason, which is kind of cool. Oh, so like right now, so I'm in this art. I can go to the wrench right here. I can go to canvas, canvas info, dimensions. Wait, no, I'm sorry, hold on. My bad. Where do I put, oh, right here, crop and resize.
Oh, no, that's actually, the first one's actually what I was.
Oh, the first one? Oh, but you can't change it though. You can just see what's in there.
Okay.
So if you want to see what's in there, you can go to Canvas Info, and I can see my dimensions, but you can't change it. If you want to change it, you got to go to Crop and Resize, and you can change it in there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one last thing before I forget, girls. This is important. Let's say someone spills their coffee on your iPad and all your work is gone. Will you be upset?
No, this is on the cloud. We're good.
Oh, so you're backing yours up. You have an iCloud storage. You're backing up that way. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I do, because I do that too, but my iCloud storage isn't big enough. So I have like 20 gigs of art on here, so it just gets to be too big. So I'm gonna go ahead and push up at the bottom. My little dock will come up, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my Google Drive and I'm gonna slide it over to the left. This is my personal Google Drive, which I pay for extra space because I back up my art on it. And right here I have Procreate Backup. All I'm going to do is the one that I'm working on today, I'm going to drag it over and I'm going to drop it in. At school it's nice because the upload speed at school is tremendously fast. Now it's going to say it's importing. It'll take a second. I'll show you. And now it's going to upload up there. You can see at the top it's going. I'm just going to pull this up here. So I just kind of swipe up from the bottom, and then I push and hold. Push and hold. Wait, come on. Pull it out and then tap it over there.
Oh, okay.
And you can have it floating if you want. You can switch sides, which is cool. You can have it float, I believe. Apparently I can't have a Google Drive window float. I do it with Safari. There it is. Now it's floating on top. So now I have that one backed up.
Okay.
Yeah.